Hi and welcome back to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝗧. Today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of Harmony 1. And, we're going to be taking a look at the most recent price action on what I think is likely to occur next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and you will not miss another video update. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out, guys. It's linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? And yeah, let's get right on into this one. Harmony 1 paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. And yeah, we have seen a lot of corrective action here. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to ascertain what kind of structures are going on here. Are we looking slightly longer term down? Are we looking at some kind of move to the upside? And all that kind of wonderful stuff. So let's actually just start by zooming out further than the previous video. We're looking at tracking this in a 5-wave structured move to the upside. Does look like we actually completed that right around about here, a little bit above and beyond the normal kind of expectations, and this goes all the way from the bottom. Now, because we haven't had any kind of decent wave 2 in here, this to me looks like we might just be having a zigzag, or more specifically, it would be a zigzag pattern, in fact, not a double zigzag, just a zigzag. So it could be that this actually completes our structure right to the upside here, with a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 structure coming in on a slightly overextension version right at the end there. It'd be interesting to kind of see what does actually happen next on these smaller timeframes as to whether or not this top is going to be a kind of move to complete a corrective ABC structure, and it really is lacking this wave 2. So let's go into that for a second. Before we talk about the kind of here and the now, let's actually just reflect on this being our 5th wave high point. We can see 5 waves definitively just in there. We then move down here for corrective action. We then go up, and up in 3, by the way, guys. Like, we don't actually have a good move in here. It's probably 1, wave 2, some kind of, yeah, it just looks like 3 actually. It could be a 3, 3, 5 coming up here. Up into this high point, corrective action, in fact. Then, yeah, a running flat right in there is also a possibility. Yeah, I'd say running flat right in here, and then up in more corrective action. So it does look like we actually, it's just a series of corrections being strung together, which is actually quite interesting. So we do end up with this 5, 3, 5, 3, 5 structure. So we did complete that. And it's possible that we want to kind of think of it like a 5-wave move. Tough call though. Well, I definitely have to see how things play out over here as to whether or not this is going to be, this kind of structure. I don't like it because I don't think it has the correct counts inside those, or in fact it is all corrective, and what we actually have is a real minor structure right in there. We then have a running flat, which would be in here like this, and then we just go up into a series of corrections. Now this correction looks like it would be very much an ending structure, like an ending diagonal, which would make it more of a kind of wave 5 situation, which is interesting. So if we have a running flat here, this could be in fact the wave 4 position, and maybe I've got this a little bit off placed. Let me see. It could be that this here is actually it could be that this right here is a wave 5, and we have an overextension in the wave 5 up here. That could fit. And then in which case we don't have to think of this structure here as just corrective. And we have 5 waves coming in here like this. So then we had a 5, 3, 5, and then we ended up with 5 up this end. Then we get into a scenario where we've either, maybe I've miscalculated here, possibly. I don't think so, but it's possible. But a double zigzag is still potentially on the cards there. So we'll see how things actually go next, because that could determine whether or not we actually look at this as 5 impulsive move like this with the overextension in wave 5, or we look at it as a double zigzag corrective ABC structure, which both would have a different output. So I'm going to kind of leave that on the fence and see how things progress with Harmony 1 as to whether or not we should be kind of structuring this out a little bit. In terms of the move down here, we have a pretty clear 3-wave structure by the looks of it right inside here. If I can actually click the button, we have this kind of structure right in here. Okay, we then have a correction up, and the thing with this is we're not going impulsive in any way. By the looks of it, we're just very clearly coming down to a 1-to-1 right here, so pretty standard stuff. We then actually have this kind of mini correction, and then we come down. Again, inside there, it looks like there is a mini correction in itself. That's not too bad. Moving to the upside in here, looks pretty much the same. Coming down, we've got a double top scenario by the looks of it. Let's go ahead and see if that is not quite. So this could still be that we actually haven't finished this, and we go like this down here. So that would be interesting to kind of see. And in fact, when we think about that a little bit more, would be a strange thing if we do pierce higher. Not impossible though, because again we would wrap that up a little bit higher, so it's possible that we could breach that. And the reason is actually this low down here. So let's go ahead and anchor this in. So this candlestick is a low of 1.556. This one is 1.556. Now, if we go ahead and measure this distance, considering that's exactly the same, then we're actually in a 5-wave structure right here. So we would go 1, 2, up here for 3, this will be 4, and we pierce up higher. And that would mean pushing higher than 1.631. And if that is the case, then actually there's a 5-wave structure here that would then actually determine the next move overall. So I don't think there's terribly too much higher to go here. I think we're pretty much there or thereabouts. So if we do this and we actually move up just a fraction more, go above 1.631, then I would say that's an incorrect count and we do not go down. Instead, we are actually probably looking at this the incorrect way, and this would be our wave B, this would be our wave A, and this 5-wave move is our wave C. And again, this could still be a 5-3-5 and extend that C out a little bit more if we needed to. So keep that in mind. If this is the correct count and we do finish that off, then my expectations would be to move the C wave up there to about 1.647. Then from there we can then talk about a move down. And if that is the case, then yeah, it would be pretty interesting to kind of see that correction then come on down, because I do think that we still have more to the downside from here. So if we do move up to that C wave, for example, then we'll be talking about 1.518, and that would get wrapped up as a bigger kind of A, B, and C structure like this on a slightly larger time frame. Now we are, of course, overbought on the hourly chart, so bear that in mind. All of this looks corrective to me. All of this is like sideways trading continuation. So we've had 3 down. We have all this choppy correctiveness right in here. And then from here, we would basically be expecting some kind of move to the downside to finish off that entire structure right from the upper side here, with the highs at about just short of 2 cents there. Let's go ahead and take a look. 1.962. So I'd expect us to kind of come down from that particular level a fraction more. Probably I'll take this low here, give us a little bit of a conservative target, and pop this up there. Estimated 1.341. That'll get us a little bit of correction here on Harmony 1. Still not overly clear on the upper side though, but all this being corrective gives me a little bit of hope that actually we're not dropping down in any particular form of trend, but we would come down below the 200 EMA. Does look like there's about to be a death cross on the 50 and 200 EMAs on the hourly chart, so that would be deemed negative and bearish, along with the overbought stochastic RSI. Now as I come up into our daily chart, let me clear all of these out because we don't need to see them on our daily chart or weekly chart. We'll remove those. We can acknowledge that we've rallied up a little bit, but we're still below the 200 EMA. It does look like we had a good end of structure, as I said previously, just below 1 cent. We're hoping that this is good structure to start a trend to the upside. We'll be looking at those lows and trying to figure out where they go, potentially for accumulation. On our daily chart, I'm not too concerned. Everything looks okay. From a weekly standpoint, I am concerned. The big concern here on the weekly time frame is that we are heading up into this overbought area, and it is not good. We do have potentially bearish situation cropping up. We have lower highs here, and it's possible that we're going to come up into higher highs on the RSI and stochastic RSI. As more specifically there, if I can actually change this over to the RSI, actually there's plenty of room there. I'm not terribly too concerned about that on this weekly time frame. From a volume point of view, volume has been decreasing quite a bit. Not terribly too concerned, but we are looking like the volumes are a bit too high around here, but they have been decreasing. So again, if we were to think of volume profiles, they are on the decrease. Very limited amount of room to the upside here from a volume profile point of view. Back onto the daily time frame from that weekly standpoint. And yeah, I think there's a good strong chance that it has bottomed, but it's a bit too soon to really say. We'll have to determine whether or not we are trending to the upside or not. And we can, of course, get very, very close back down into these lows under a wave 2 structure. Wave 2s can obviously be up to 100% of a retracement of the wave 1. So if this is to be considered wave 1, then we can, of course, come all the way back down to 0.00936. I don't think that'll be the case. Typically, they actually stop at about 88.2, but we'll see. And then, of course, you'd have 3, 4, and 5, and that would be great. So we would want to buy the wave 2 if this is how we deem it to be. But, it's a bit too soon to say for sure. So we'll keep a close eye on that. But overall, Harmony 1, I'm really quite happy with the technical aspect of it. From a fundamental point of view, I'm still kind of, holding out hope that things are still solid as a rock and all that kind of wonderful stuff. But, we'll let the community know if we feel otherwise at any one point. But for now, yeah, I'm quite happy to continue holding Harmony 1. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And I hope everyone has a fantastic day.